All right, let's try this video again because this is the second time I'm recording. There is no specific reason why I just deleted it by accident. So anyway, this rising while I was on the throne, the toilet, I was just like having a feeling of like an end of an era. And I know we talk about an end of an era, but like to feel it energetically is something, it's a completely different experience. So to me, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling like the end of an era, but like, what does that mean? And I'm like, I'm a millennial, right? So I'm just going to go off of the era that I was brought up in. I'm not trying to reach into nobody's era, nobody else's era right now. So with me being a millennial, I'm like, well, how long do generations last, right? Because I'm sitting on the throne and all of a sudden I'm starting to get all of these downloads. Sort of like, have y'all ever watched The Fifth Element when Lilu was put in front of the computer and she was eating the food, but it was like she was taking in all of the information from like all of the stuff that she missed, or all of the stuff she didn't know? Matter of fact, I'm going to put the clip right here. Anyway, so it's sort of like that. Like, that's how information was coming in for me. Like, the breaking down of, like, what generation means, like, what an era means, and all of those things. So I'm like, if I'm a millennial, how long does the... Ooh, my leg is heating up. Hold on. My fire just heated up. Interesting. I was like, how long does a generation last? And it says like 20 to 30 years. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But they put a lot of emphasis on like 15 to 20 years because that's when those people of that generation start to realize the cultural shift, the technology shift, the social changes, and things like that. So I was like, that's what I'm feeling. I know we are seeing it, but I am feeling like an end to everything. Almost like what an apocalypse is. Use your own discernment. So I'm like, wow. I'm like, okay, because I am a millennial who gave birth to a Gen Z. And what came after Gen Z? Gen Y? I gave birth to a Gen Z, and then whatever generation is after that is my son, which I think is Gen Y, I think. I'm not sure. But he borders Gen Z and Gen Y because he was born in 2011. So where one era ends, another era picks up. Use your own discernment. So I have a border baby as well. So I'm thinking to myself, because I look at everything through energy, like I read the energy. I'm just a natural reader, right? I came across a post. Let me show you. I came across this post, and I find this very interesting because this is what sparked all of the downloads. This world is traumatizing because that is how to create healers and spiritual people. And I'm like, you have to sit with that. Sit with the depth of what that is saying. I'm like, trauma inevitably leads back to the spirit and to learning the art of the healer. So many healers are being created at this time. And I'm like, unconsciously, yes. Like, this shift my whole perspective because we are in the dark of times. Even though we're like shifting out of the age of Pisces. If you know the depth of the ages and how that plays itself out and what Pisces represents, Pisces could either be the light or it could be the dark. The end. It's two fish, right? We have been experiencing the dark of the Pisces, which is leading us into the light. But for this speaks on so many like what? Like what? Like literally, you're literally being thrown into combat to learn how to be a healer. Literally. Like if you literally look at the energy of things, and I'm not talking about the human experience, you're literally being trained to be a healer or to step back into that frequency. So, okay, so here's what I looked up about my generation. I'm a millennial, which is Generation Y. That sparked like my brain going off. I'm like, millennials or Generation Y. I'm like, oh, that's interesting because The Y chromosome is what? The masculine frequency. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense because we were deep in our 10th house like these past 20 years. with Pluto being in Capricorn, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong to all my astrology girlies, because I'm an astrology girly too, but like I'm on the roll. I'm ranting right now. So I'm like, that's interesting because Y is the masculine frequency. I said, so it makes sense to me. To me, energetically, it makes sense the way the world has developed. I'm like 1981. Okay, I read numbers, energy through numbers as well. I'm like 9 plus 1, 10 plus 8, 18 plus 1, 9. Right? I'm like, that's 19, which aligns with 2026 because 2026 is the year of 10 and 1. 1981 is 19, 10, and 1. You have to keep breaking it down, right? So I'm like, okay, so we're reflecting 1981. Like all of the people born during that year, we're reflecting that. Like this year is the ending of our year. Like, do y'all understand what I'm saying? Like, it's the ending of that generation's evolution. Like, that's why a lot of us are like, what do we do next? Some of us are shifting into empty nesters. Yeah, because I'm shifting into an empty nester. One of my children are out and one is still here. So we're coming to the end of an era, which is for millennials, right? Which follows us is Gen Z. If you think about the X chromosome is what? Feminine energy, which makes sense as to why we made a huge shift and we're shifting back into what the frequency of love is, the root of things. Stay with me. I know this video is long, but it's so worth it. Okay, sidebar. For all of my Bible girlies, all of my astrology girlies, y'all know the blood moon is in the Bible, right? It's in a few. It's in Revelations. It's in Acts. I think it's in Luke too. But more specifically, I want to point out the fact that it is in Acts 2, chapter 2, verse 20, right? First of all, let's just look at the root word. Let's just look at it. Acts. Like action, act. Acts like something is being played out. And y'all know how Bob Marley said we got to fulfill the book. Okay, moving on. 22 is what? A master number. It's a master builder. If you break it down, it breaks down to the vibration of 4, which makes sense because generation X is the feminine energy. It makes sense that everything is aligning in the feminine, but in the dark feminine, sort of like in Lilith. But I wanted to show y'all that this describes, the blood moon describes like the ending of an era, right? That's what it means. Hold on. The ending of an era is the conclusion of a significant, long-lasting period, often marked by major cultural, personal, or historical shifts. You literally don't have to do candle rituals. You don't have to read a whole bunch of self-help books. Like, it's literally all, like all of the info is literally like there. Moving on. So this is what I wanted to point out with the blood moon, the prophetic events. This phenomenon indicates cosmic disturbances often associated with the tribulation period or the end of times. It's just a shift in consciousness. It's just a shift in that evolutions, in that generational evolutions consciousness. That's it. We've done as much as we have supposed to do for generation, for us millennials. Like, we have bought the evolution of consciousness as far as we can take it. Now it is up to the other generations to take it even further. I know this video is long, but it is a part 2. So please watch it and please share it, because I'm just teaching y'all how to just find the answers right there, because they're all right there, and how to read the energy, not read the room. Let's just read the energy, point blank, and the period. Okay. All right. So I thought we were in generation alpha, but we're not. We are actually in generation beta, but I want you to pay attention